All in attendance. We ready? Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Lee County Zoning Board of Appeals, Thursday, August 1st, 2024. The first order of business is to call the roll.
Bruce Forster,
Here.
Craig Burrow,
Here.
Mike Pratt is not present, Luke Phelan,
Here.
Okay. We don't have an approval of minutes tonight, but we do have to have a motion to adjourn pursuant to the county board's vote on petitions number 24-P-1624. Humphrey accessory special use permit skilled trades. The second one is for Amoresco, number 24-P-1625, special use permit for a pipeline. And the third one is for 24-P-1627 AgView FS map amendment for the expansion of their existing business. And we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comments? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We have no old business tonight. What we do have is the first petition is petition number 24-P-1628. Jacob Little and Emma Little as owners of certain real property identified as PIN number 14-09-05-300-012, commonly known as 1321 Illinois Route 38. Would you like to make a comment?
Yes, petitioners, Mr. and Mrs. Lytle, contacted the zoning office recently. They were unable to complete the notification requirements for their petition, and so they would like to continue this to the September 5th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Okay. So we need a motion to continue to the September 5th meeting.
I'll make a motion to continue that petition to the September 5th meeting. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Question maybe is they want to go from residential
Correct.
to ag. Where is there any other property in that area that's residential?
So some number of years ago, it was an ag parcel that was subdivided. And because it did not meet the Plat Act, they had to go through the subdivision requirements. So it's the parcel adjoining it to the west are a platted subdivision. So that is where the residential zoning came in.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All in favor of a motion to continue, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. The next petition is petition number 24-P-1629, Richard A. Humphrey and Brenda D. Humphrey, regarding part of permanent parcel number 18-08-13-100-006, located in South Dixon Township. The petitioners are requesting a special use permit for the purpose of inventory and material storage outdoor for the purpose of storing of inventory or materials in relation to the operation of a skills trade special use permit for Midwest disposal. The parcel is currently zoned to Ag 1, Rural Agricultural District, the portion of the parcel, and the portion of the parcel that this special use permit would apply to is approximately 12 acres in size. Before we go any further, there is a member of the public who has requested that we continue this petition till next month. They would like to have their counsel here. Their counsel was not able to be here tonight. So they're requesting that we move it. It's not, that's up to us whether we'd like to continue on and finish this, or what's anybody's thoughts? My position is I think we ought to go forward with the meeting.
Just to clarify, they want a legal counsel here with
Yes.
them?
Have you got any idea what's the legality that they're looking at?
I do not. I did talk with Charlie Boonstra, to see what the process is. And he said it is up to you guys. And if you would like additional counsel on this, I can arrange to see if Charlie can be available by phone, if you want to consult with him prior to making any vote.
When did they request to have legal counsel at this meeting?
The request was just received today.
And this is somebody within, what's the limits for notification? Somebody was notified then within half a mile or a mile, or?
I believe so. I mean,
Yeah, they were in the,
notice is published in the paper, so anyone who reads the
Oh,
paper would
okay.
be publicly noticed, so.
Does this have to be in the form of a motion?
What's that?
Does it have to be in the form of a motion? I would assume. She's shaking her head, yes. So I move we continue with the meeting as scheduled.
And you?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue the meeting. Is there any other discussion? Any thoughts? Hearing none.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Let's move on forward. You have any comments to begin with? Or
I'm sorry, what was the motion?
we're going to go forward. with
Move
the
to
meeting.
continue tonight with the
Continue
hearing
tonight.
tonight. I'm sorry,
Right.
I misunderstood you. I thought you were
Right.
asking for a continuance.
Right.
Okay. Yes, I would like to start then. Notification requirements have been completed for this petition. A copy of letters mailed on July 15th to District 1 County Board members, City of Dixon Mayor, City of Dixon Planning Commission, South Dixon Township Supervisor, South Dixon Township Road Commissioner, Lee County Health Department, Lee County Highway Department, and Lee County Soil and Water Conservation District. I also have the certified mailing receipts dated July 15th for certified mailing to adjoining property owners and the corresponding green cards. I also have a certificate of publication of notice of public hearing that was published July 16th in the Dixon Telegraph. And I also have a copy of the public notice that was posted near the entrance of 1556 Red Brick Road.
Okay. Petitioner present? Wanna come forward? You solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth?
I do.
Sign your name, print your name, and state your name.
All righty. Richard A. Humphrey, Jr.
Just to give a quick little background on this, Mr. Humphrey recently had petitioned for a special use under the skilled trades ordinance, which was granted. As part of that ordinance, if Mr. Humphrey wants to have outdoor storage of inventory or materials related to his business, he also needs a special use for that. That is why he's here this evening.
Yes, sir. Can I, well, summarize basically what Alice said. We've been in front of the zoning board here and we were granted the skilled trade special use permit and under the definition of it, I guess we are back here seeking a special use within the special use to be able to park the trucks outside. The question is inventory and equipment or inventory and materials for outdoor storage, if the trucks qualify or not, but we're here just asking for permission to be able to park them outside. Okay. I think most of you have been familiar with the property. I'm going to pass this around just for your visual so you can understand where we're looking at. There's an aerial photo of the property that we're talking about. It's labeled, I think, exhibits A, B, C, D, and E, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll pass around some photos to correspond to them. So this is a photograph taken from position B out on the road across the street from the church. If you're looking to the east of the property. And that you can see you can't see any area visible to where the trucks are parked at there. Number C has a location about halfway down on their property line from Red Brick Road, and you can just see the tail end of the trucks in the background. Picture D is a visual from Mr. Topper's property, looking towards our property where the trucks are parked. I can't physically see anything there, so I just wanted to give you a representation of what you see when you come down the road. Number E is from our driveway, the entrance to the driveway. You can just see the nose of one truck sitting there. I think I took that on a day when most of the trucks were out on the road. So that's what you would see when you entered the property. And then location A is where the trucks are currently parked at.
Which is technically behind that building.
Behind the building, yes. I guess I would ask for any questions at this time in relationship to the photos that you looked at, if there are any. I think that the reason that we're here is the previous meeting and the previous hearings, there was discussion about wanting to park the trucks inside. I don't know if that's from a visual standpoint or an odor standpoint, but I believe it was due to odor. And I think that we've invited everybody at this table to come out and take an inspection. We got an open book here. I don't know if everybody's been able to make it out and look themselves or not, but again, if you got any questions on that, I'd entertain those questions as well.
Just for the record and for some clarification, the zoning board can do on-site inspections. We just have to be careful of quorum. If you guys could confirm on the record that if you went to the property and who was present at that time, would appreciate it.
I went to the property on Wednesday evening.
I went there about 6:20 tonight.
Okay.
I was there about quarter to 7 tonight.
Okay. Clarify for me one more time.
Sir?
What are you building the hoop building for?
Just general storage, farm equipment. I think you all seen when you were there that we've got quite a little bit of everything going on. We lost a machine shed last year to a fire. And consequently, I don't have enough room for my machinery. So.
Okay. All right.
I'd also like to pass around a letter that we received from our neighbors, the church congregation. So thank you letter that we received just about a week ago, I think it was.
Okay.
Question for the zoning officer. Alice, I think we've been over this. It does meet all the setback requirements, correct?
Correct. There are no special setbacks other than what is established for the district. So currently, believe it would be 60 feet from the center line of the roadway for his front property line and 15 feet from the side and rear.
Approximately how far back off the road are the trucks parked?
Well, the building itself, the main building is 280 and it's off the road and it's further. So it's probably 350 feet, I would guess, or more.
Two questions I have. One is, you currently have 8 trucks?
I think there's 10, if I'm not mistaken.
10?
Yeah.
But they're not all garbage trucks.
There's some delivery trucks in there, service vehicles and things, yes.
How many garbage trucks?
I guess depends on what you define as garbage trucks. And the reason I say that is a roll-off truck.
Right.
Does haul trash, but it has the ability to come back with no box on it. So if you're considering that a garbage truck, there's 10, but if not, there's actual collection vehicles. I think there's 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And again, I'm a little fuzzy on this because they're not mine.
And when I was there, you had a large batch of new containers, correct? You didn't, they do.
They do. Yes. Midwest Disposal does.
Right. And that was because they have a new contract.
Yes, they're starting Polo, the city of Polo in September 1st. And part of the contract for the residential is also all the commercial that goes along with that. So they've had to acquire a bunch of containers to get ready for that new contract starting. I've failed to, I guess, provide the information at the last hearing, but they also own a lot. It's 2 or 3 acre lot in Rock Falls in an industrial park. And that's currently undeveloped, but the plan is to be able to get that paved or gravelled and stuff and be able to use it for more container storage. So when that's available, I mean, naturally our goal is to eliminate as much as possible there at the main operation.
Yeah.
But it's been a growth spurt that the boys are seeing, and they're just doing what they can to accommodate the business.
Do you foresee this getting any larger on your property the business itself, the amount of trucks, the amount of containers, roll-off trucks, et cetera?
I mean, that's kind of an unknown question. I would answer that the best way I can is that they're actively looking for customers. It takes quite a few customers to be able to add another vehicle to the fleet. But between like the yard in Rock Falls and stuff, it's our goal probably to keep more of the containers in Rock Falls and the trucks just there for service and be able to get the drivers and everybody at one spot to be able to have them make sure they're on time for work and things of that nature. So, I mean, there's going to be a limiting factor on how big we can handle. You know, if they continue to explode, then naturally they're going to be looking to look at other locations that they don't have to travel so far back and forth to come to their home base. So once this area gets saturated, if they expand, then naturally they're going to probably try to find another location away from here.
In the business, you're talking about expansion. Do the cities then bid this out every so many years?
Typically, a city contract is a period of 5 years. Once the cities get a vendor, sometimes they just re-up their contract and keep going. Other times they like to test the market and see what the market will bear, and so they put it out for bid. So a typical contract is for 5 years.
When you're talking about expansion or whatever, that's what I'm getting at is what are the odds of getting the city of Dixon or whatever nearby? And you mentioned, I think last time, that you're hauling mostly to the Whiteside landfill.
Typically, most of the waste goes to Whiteside, yes.
Have you got any business in Whiteside County?
Oh, yeah, they've got a lot of business, Sterling Rock Falls. That's one of the reasons why they've got the yard over there.
That's what I thought it must be, since you got that industrial site.
I don't know if it's appropriate at this point in time, but can I call a witness or?
What's that? Hello.
Well, before we call another witness, let's see if anyone has any questions for Mr. Humphrey. And then if there are no questions,
No,
then
we'll do that.
we'll go to the next
We
one.
can do that. I guess I have a question. Would you be willing to put a number on what you would say would be the limit of growth that you would allow to come to your property here? Meaning, is it 15 trucks? And I'm talking about actual garbage trucks.
I mean, I would say that you're not counting the roll-offs as a garbage truck. You're looking at, so they've got, I mean, I can't see any more than 15 if you're not counting the roll-offs as garbage trucks. You know, it just probably wouldn't be physically possible to accommodate much more than that. Okay.
You said as far as the new containers you have there, there will be more coming in before you had to order far enough in it, or they had to order far enough in advance.
Correct.
That there'll be some more come before you actually distribute them.
I mean, I don't know exactly how much more they have coming. I think that for that particular contract, I think they're pretty much covered.
Okay.
If there more do come, it's for any just other additional business that might be between now and those leaving the yard. And, I'm not gonna try to sit here and tell you that it's never gonna be down to zero. There's probably always gonna be a few there, but we're gonna try to keep it minimized.
And these are the new ones.
Yes. Yeah.
They look-
I know I mentioned to you that I might suggest some little bit taller, solid fencing along that one line facing the road.
And again, I guess it depends on what you're actually talking about. I mean, we're not opposed to trying to accommodate. The concern that I've got, like I told you when you were out there, is that if you ask for 50 foot and we put up 50 and there's a container sitting 10 foot outside of it. I guess where I'm coming from is that in trying to represent in these photographs, that if you're concerned about sight, you really can't see things from the road unless you're actually looking for it. It's not like we're right on the highway. We're not right on the road. But I would try to accommodate and listen to whatever you.
And I agree with that. The only thing, those containers right now with the fence that you
Sure.
have there
Yeah.
are up a little bit higher than the fence.
Or I can unstack them.
Huh?
I could unstack them. If
That's another-
if that would help,
That's another
you know,
option.
we'd be willing to consider that too. One of the concerns when your last suggestion was a building, for a bit of references, last summer we had the unfortunate had a machine shed fire, and in that I lost a tractor, a planter, a chisel plow, a grain cart, and a soil finisher. And so my concern with putting all these trucks inside, not only from the cost of the building, but just a sheer thing like that, if the electrical fire or something happens, from a safety standpoint, they'd all go up in a matter of minutes, and there's no way a fire department could control that with all the diesel fuel and hydraulic oil that those things, and the rubber tires. And so that's one of the biggest concerns that we have with putting them inside in the building, is the safety.
And I understand that. You have any more questions? You have any more questions? Okay. Anybody from the public have any questions? You want to stand up, and we'll have to turn that on. There you go.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yep. Please
Um,
state your name.
my name is Richard Itopper. And one of my questions for Rick Humphrey is, when you rinse your trucks out and wash them, is that wastewater going to just go into the ground, or is it going into some type of septic system?
We don't typically rinse out the inside of the trucks. We wash the outside of the trucks, just like you would your car or motorcycles or anything else. So
Okay. All right. And another question I have is, what gave you the right to start your business when you were not zoned to do so? since you were a former board member, you should have known better.
Well, I guess that's why we're here, because we do know better, and it's not my business, but I'm just here trying to do the right thing.
And that's all the questions I have from him, but I have some for the board that I'll save when I can speak.
Right. You'll get an opportunity a little bit later to make
Yeah.
public comment.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any?
Name's Brandon C. Hudson. So you do not have anything to do with the ownership of Midwest Disposal, correct?
No, not financially, no,
Okay, so wouldn't it benefit the owners of the company to be here? Why aren't they here?
because they don't own the property. I do.
Fair, but shouldn't they be here to benefit themselves?
I don't know if that's a requirement.
So my next question would be, naturally, it's gonna rain eventually, and naturally, you're gonna have dirty, old, used, filthy dumpsters and trash cans. Where's that water gonna go when it rains? Are you gonna house them inside, or you're just gonna let it go towards drinking water and creeks?
Well, you're assuming that, first of all. Second of all the containers, most of them have plugs in them, because when you take them to a customer's, they don't want the rainwater running out on their property, and it's gathered in the trucks and then it's deposited in landfill when they're dumped.
So when you pick up a roll-off, it doesn't leak? A dirty roll-off especially?
Yeah, they do, but they're not there at our place.
So you're gonna wash them when they come back?
Why would we wash them?
I'm just trying to protect the
No.
drinking water in the creek.
No, we don't wash them, no.
Okay. And you also stated you have 10 trucks now, correct?
There's 10 trucks there, I think, yes.
And I believe the last zoning meeting in March? In May, I believe, you stated you had 7.
And I also stated that there was one coming. And I'm also adding the delivery truck, so there was 8 or 9, so I might have been off 1 or 2, but
But growth is
The one that-
going rapidly.
the one that we told you was coming has arrived, so it is there
Gotcha. But growth is happening rapidly.
fairly rapidly, yes.
And what happens when a contract runs out with, let's say, Polar? What are you gonna do with all those cans? Are they just gonna sit outside?
Well, that's not very feasible, so they would probably be sold if they lost them.
Okay. That's all I got.
Excuse me, where are you located relative to the property?
I own St. James Church. Well, it is formerly known as St. James Church.
Okay.
My name is Brenda Humphrey. I just want to comment on the containers. Oh, I'm the petitioner.
We'll have to have you come up here, sign in as a witness so that. you
I do.
can-
Okay.
To make the comment. Okay,
You want me to do that now?
no, he's still here.
I'm still in the hot seat.
Oh.
Hang on,
Well,
just hang on a moment.
okay.
We'll see if there's any other questions, just questions for Rick. And if no one has any questions, we'll move on to the next witness. and
Okay,
then
I was
he would-
just going to answer his question about the containers.
And we'll give you a minute to,
Okay.
in just a moment. Thank you.
Anything else?
Is there any further questioning?
Anybody else have any questions back there?
And anyone on Zoom?
On Zoom, I'd like to make a statement, but you said that might be a little later.
Yes, right now we're just doing questions for the witness and we will get to public comment in a bit.
I would like to make a public comment,
Okay,
and I'm an adjacent landowner.
okay. We will call on you when that time comes.
Thank you.
You said you had another
I have a witness.
witness.
I do.
Okay,
Do I call him now?
sure.
Okay, I'd like to call my first witness, Mr. Michael Capeen.
Okay. You solemnly swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give should be. Sign your name, print your name, and then you get to state your name.
All three in a row.
Yep. It's a trifecta.
The last one is, good evening, gentlemen. I'm Michael J. Copine.
I asked Mr. Capeen to be here this evening. I just had some questions. He's been on the property numerous times. I guess I would just ask for his testimony as to if he's ever seen anything as far as trash laying around or odors or any concerns that he might have that as a board member, county board member, as a Lee County resident, that would be cause for concern to grant this special use. So just, I guess, tell the board here what you've seen and what your opinion is. So,
Okay. First of all, I just want to comment that I'm here to express my observations, not my opinion. I don't want anybody thinking that I've been playing judge or anything else, going out and trying to find infractions. Over the last, excuse me, I'm sorry. Over about the last 3 weeks, I've been out on the approximately 5 or 6 different visitations, trying to choose a different time of temperature, wind conditions, ambient conditions, as far as questions that have come up in other areas as far as odor and garbage and everything else. I did talk to a young gentleman by the name of Derek, very helpful, very social, and very compliant. Took me out, we walked around the trucks. He answered all of the questions that I did ask him. One of them specifically, is there a loaded garbage truck parked here overnight, or any loaded garbage trucks parked here overnight? And he said no. None of them that are brought in have a full load of garbage on them. There may be an incidental situation where a pickup was missed and they've been sent back to make that one pickup, but there's never a full load of garbage on any given truck sitting out there. I have checked, like I said, in different wind conditions. I have never picked up any odor yet as far as being out there. I even had my wife with me twice. Not that she was that interested, but she didn't have much choice. It was at her walk home. So I wasn't able to find any major issues as far as that matter goes. I've also learned that there is now activity on a weekend basis, I believe on Saturdays. I just happened to be going to Dixon last Saturday, and there was open activity going on there at the church. I would think that if there was issues of any, I guess, obnoxious odors or anything, somebody might have called in a complaint. I didn't stop to talk with anybody. I haven't talked with any of the neighbors. I simply went out there on my own to observe what was there, when it was there, and got my questions answered. And I thank the board for the opportunity to at least express my opinion. I am board member of District 1, and I do receive any communications as far as the zoning office or anything that goes on within District 1. And I do try to make it out to all of them that I can make and at least observe what's going on, and if possible, try to meet the people that are involved all the way around, whether it's neighbors or whatever. And I didn't intentionally not talk to anybody. I just wanted to experience for myself so that if I received questions, here's a letter encouraging me to come out as a board member of District 1, and I did such. So if you have any questions on my activity, I'll be glad to.
Do you have any questions, Greg?
No.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, you're not excused yet. Do any members of the public have any questions for Mr. Copine?
Yes, sir.
My name again,
Yes, please.
Brandon C. Hudson. So when you were out there, fair to say there was a minimum amount of cans and dumpsters and trucks. Was it during the daytime when you were out there? Like from the hours of like 9 to 5?
I think Saturday when I was there was between 6 and 7 p.m.
But it's pretty fair to say that they're not running full-fledged yet, where they would have dirty dumpsters. The trucks would be pretty filthy, not saying the outside, the insides, whatever they, get dumped into them, roll-offs would be pretty filthy. So it's fair to say that it's not to the capacity where it could be in the future, correct?
I'm sorry, I can't answer that. I didn't ask the extent or how large the company was. There were trucks that were parked there, and Derek informed me that the trucks that were parked there, were there at the close of the operating day. So I just took it for granted that I said, is this the number of trucks that you have running? And he said, yes. And when I asked him how many, he said that there were 7.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
So I have a question.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Yeah, my name is Dr. Peter Nichols.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Did you observe full trucks in the parking area during your observations?
Give me your definition of a full truck.
Well, did you?
Full load of garbage?
Yeah, were the trucks filled with waste that had been collected? And if so, were they half full, all full to the top? You've said they weren't there overnight, but were they there during the day? That is,
No.
trucks that had.
No, sir. They were on the route during the day.
Yeah, but when they were when you observed, you said you observed trucks, and I thought I heard you say that the trucks had trash within them and they had collected trash that then taken the truck and parked it.
My explanation of having trash on the vehicle was given to me by one of the current owners of the business, and said that the only way anything would be on any of the trucks would be if there was a route pickup that may have been unfortunately missed, or whatever the circumstances are, they may pick that up, but there would probably never be more than 1 or 2 pickups left on the truck until the following day when they could be emptied. There were never any full trucks. I did not witness any full trucks. I did not witness any major odor, even on anything that may have been in the back of a truck as far as 1 or 2 pickups. And believe me, if anybody can smell an odor, I'm going to smell the odor. I can assure you that.
Thanks.
There are no other questions for Mr. Copine. You can be excused.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any other witnesses that you would like to call?
Sure. Brenda Humphrey. Got something to say.
Raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth? Sign your name, print your name, and state your name.
Brenda Humphrey.
If you could please explain in further detail about the containers that was in question.
Oh, I just wanted to state that when Midwest started, they were all rear load containers. And then they had shifted over to mostly front load containers. So personally, I never said anything to the boys, but I was wondering what the heck are they gonna do with all these containers? And before I knew it, they had already sold them. The rear load containers that they had brought back and replaced with front load containers. So that kind of answers Mr. Hudson's question on what if you lose a stop, do you bring these containers back? The boys had sold those containers. They're kind of vain with their new containers, so if they can flip them, they do. So that's all I wanted to say, that they're not afraid of selling these containers.
Any questions? Any questions from the floor? Okay.
Mr. Nickel, do you have a question for the witness?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Topper, please. Calling for a witness.
You're calling Mr. Tapper?
Yeah.
First witness?
Yeah.
Good. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth? Okay. Go.
State. Just gotta state.
Yes, now you have to state your name again.
Richard I. Topper.
Mr. Topper, you in the past, and I believe it's my understanding that your contention with the business being there is that you've had odor issues. Can you kind of fill us in a little bit more with that?
Yeah, it was, last year, it was either on the 4th of July weekend or Labor Day weekend. There was a truck of yours parked close down to my house. I was out walking alongside the road and smelt this nasty odor, and I've never smelled anything like it before. I figured that something was possibly dead in your field that you rent across the street from me. So I looked out and noticed that the wind was coming from where that garbage truck was, and it sat there for 2 days. And it had to have been loaded with garbage because the smell that was coming out of there was horrible. And by the end of the day, you could smell it in the back of my deck.
And that was this year or last year?
Last year.
Last year. And did you ever file a complaint with anybody?
No, I figured, no, I didn't want to cause any problems at the time, but I didn't know you were working illegally there.
So we had a truck parked there for 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't really know when that would have been, but because we need them trucks on the road and I'd have no
Yeah, it was
reason.
a holiday weekend.
No reason to park them down there, but maybe you could help me. Could you identify this?
That's my house.
Okay. I'd like the record be shown that that's a picture of Mr. Topper's house that I took here not too long ago. With the odor so bad that the windows are open during the daytime. As you can see from the picture, if you don't like to pass that around, I would think that the odors were that bad that I had, and he's got all the right to open his windows. I'm not saying he doesn't. But, if it was that nasty, I don't think that I'd have my windows open.
I'm not saying the smell comes from that all the time. I said I've smelled it before.
Well, that's where the opinions differ. So, I mean, I've got numerous opportunities here and people that have testified that they don't smell anything and they're standing right next to their trucks.
They don't live where I live either. I don't smell everything every day. I told you that.
Okay,
But
I've
I
got
do
no further questions. I just wanted to identify when this supposedly happened. And
Okay.
so,
Mr. Topper, is it?
Yes.
Approximately from where the trucks are parked now, how many yards would you say is that from your house?
I have no idea.
The length of a football field, 100 yards, closer,
It would be
2 foot.
farther than a football field,
200 yards
at least.
at least.
Mhm.
Okay.
But the truck that I was smelling was not parked near any of the other trucks. It was down closer to me.
Correct. Thank you.
Was it on the road or was it in the field there or something?
It was in the field.
Good.
no further questions.
You have any questions?
More.
Is that the only time you smelled anything?
No, I've smelled odors before by driving by, but the time that I'm talking about right now is the only time from my home that I could smell it.
Okay. So on that question, then I just have a different question. If the only time you smelled it was when it was down here or down here? I'm assuming it was down here because this is.
According to his testimony, I think he's saying that it was parked down here, but
No, it wasn't parked there. Here. It was in between your house and my house.
I'm not quite sure why a garbage truck would be parked out in the middle of a cattle pasture.
Well, I don't understand why it was parked where it was. It wasn't out in a cattle pasture. It was closer to my house than what it is to yours. Not around any other of your garbage trucks. That was the only single truck sitting out there.
I'm asking you now, since you're here.
Yep.
Do you have any reason to park trucks anywhere than besides around this area?
That's currently where they park. It's
And this would be right where you're putting,
in the past, there were trucks parked right here in the past.
That's
When we had, I don't know, 2 or 3 trucks. Like I showed you on our tour, the reason we park up here is because of the electrical outlets and.
right, you were
Yep.
plugging into the
Correct.
electrical outlet.
Yep.
Okay. So in that comment that you made earlier that if you doubled the number of garbage trucks and went up to
Yep.
15, then there probably need to do something different. Is there
The idea is that they'd wrap around here. There's a fence there. They'd be parked over there along that fence.
both sides of that fence?
Probably on this side where these trailers are currently.
Okay,
The trailers would be flip-flopped, put on the other side.
okay. The reason I'm asking this question is because as a special use, we can put limitations on where he can put things. And that's why I'm saying, if you haven't had any problems since the truck was parked down here on a holiday weekend, I'm just saying, if we limited him to park the trucks, not saying that he can't drive down and drive back, but limited him to park in that area, to park them, do you think that would be a problem?
I don't want garbage trucks out there, period.
I understand that, but the second part is they're pretty well hidden behind this shed, and they're hidden behind this shed. And I drove past your house to the next road, turned around, came back. Unless you're looking for them, you don't really.
Well, no, while the crops are up, you're not gonna see them from the road.
What's that?
With the crops up, you won't see them from the road.
No, I'm driving past here. The field. Coming back this way, you really don't even notice them too much because there's other.
Buildings.
What's that?
Buildings in the way.
Yeah, there's buildings in the way and other things, so.
Yeah, but how's that gonna eliminate smell?
The only time you said you had the smell basically was when you had a truck down here.
Mhm. Yes, basically, yes.
And I'm saying we limited them to have the trucks up here.
Well, how do I know that I'm not gonna get smell from that? I haven't as of yet, but how are you gonna prove that I'm not?
Because you basically said you only had the smell one time and it was a year ago at a holiday. And it was parked down here.
Oh, I don't know. The special use permit says that there's not supposed to be any smell, noise, any smell or noise. There is smell or noise from there.
Is Mr. Topper still under oath? I would suggest seeing if anyone else has questions, if the board still has questions for him, and if there are no further questions.
You have any more?
Well, you're referring to the ordinance then, but there's probably a limit of the noise of an EPA limit, or we've dealt with noise on other issues. I mean, there can be some noise, but there's a limit as to what it could be.
But it's a truck.
The special use we're asking for is just the outdoor storage. I mean, to park the trucks there has already been approved for the skilled trades. It's just an issue of whether they, if there's a condition here on parking them or not.
The new hoop building is gonna be up at the north end of that,
It'll be right in
right
here,
in here.
right in here, isn't it? Or no, it's up here. Right,
Okay.
it comes right down there. Yeah.
Members of the public have any questions?
You have any other questions? Anybody back here have any questions? Go ahead.
Witness.
Brandon Hudson, Mr. Topper. So from what I'm picking up, listening so far, the hoop building is the future for the trucks to be parked in. Mr. Topper, do you think it'd be fair to say that canvas and non-sealed doors could potentially emanate the smell from it still, as opposed to a sealed metal building?
No, I'd need to be a sealed metal building, but I don't think he's using that building for garbage trucks. I think it's just gonna be farm machinery, if I'm not mistaken.
May I address Mr. Humphrey?
Sure.
Is that the intentions of that hoop building?
It's for general storage
General storage being for Midwest?
for both. General storage. We need the room. We've got plenty of equipment to go in there. It's for general storage.
Okay. So Mr. Topper, let's say it is for the garbage trucks, could it be generally you could park them in there without sealed doors? Do you think that would help the case if there was trucks parked in there with trash?
No,
As the landowner at 1552, I don't think it would be either. I think it would have to be something sealed nice and tight to keep it in there. That's it.
Any further comments?
Does anyone on Zoom have questions for the witness?
No.
My closing comments are is that, we're just trying to do the right thing, be a good neighbor. We've gone through the process here. This is our second time back. We've got a special use to be able to operate there. This special use is consideration of whether the trucks can be parked outside or not. We don't do any rinsing of water, rinse water and stuff like that. If there's any washing, it's along the exterior of the trucks. No different than washing your car, your motorcycle, or farm equipment, anything like that. Had numerous visitors to come out, take a look, address any concerns about a visual and odor. I think that we're accommodating to the point that we ask that you rule in favor and grant us a special use to park trucks outside. And thank you.
Okay.
Could you please excuse the witness?
What's that?
Could you please excuse the witness?
Could I ask him a question? Oh, I'm sorry. No.
Who's he want to ask?
Do you have a question for Mr. Topper or you have another question for Mr. Humphrey?
A question for Mr. Humphries.
Okay, I would go ahead and excuse Mr. Topper. It will be up to you if you want to
Right.
take any further questions.
You're excused. I really don't, I think we're past that.
Okay.
All right.
Since Mr. Humphrey has already started in on closing arguments, then I would see if any member of the public would like to make a closing argument or comment.
That's correct. Would you like to make a closing comment? Mr.
I'm
Nichols?
making a public statement, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, you want to know who I am?
Please state your name for the record.
Yeah. So my name's Dr. Peter Nichols. I'm the co-trustee of the Louise Warner Trust. And it is property that shares the east property line of the Humphreys property and runs from Route 52 to McGurr Road. I'm sorry, that's a little more than my name, but at least you know who I am now.
Okay.
Okay, so my statement is as follows, and I first apologize that I didn't learn of the first hearing, and I would have made a statement at that time, but because I didn't hear of it, I missed it, and I understand that's on me. So I recognize the importance of trash collection. So all we have to do is look at New York City when there are no trash collectors, and we can see what happens when you don't have good trash collection. However, a trash business, by its very nature, has to be located carefully and thoughtfully. I don't see that this business met either of those sort of requires a careful and thoughtful approach to where should a trash business be located. So the area we're talking about is some of the most beautiful agricultural community. It's not a place to develop trash community. There's a church directly across the street. And I am the co-trustee of property immediately adjacent. That property, the beneficiaries of that are my sister, Nancy Nichols, my brother, Henry Nichols, and myself. So that property has 2 homes that are within a half a mile and are likely to be affected by this business as it develops. So as the business grows, there's going to be increased traffic along Route 52 and Red Brick Road. Red Brick Road is a township road. And what is going to happen in the spring when the township roads are posted? One of the reasons I was asking about the trucks and what do they have in them? So I know some of my, or some that the farm property that my family and I own actually don't even get insurance for their trucks during periods that the township closes the roads. So what's going to be done about that? Again, the water issue has been raised, and I also have that. These trucks have to be washed. I can't imagine that they're only going to be washed on just the outside. The water is going to get into the collection site, or it's going to be there when they come back to be kept overnight. And last, and probably my greatest concern, and I meant to ask this question and I didn't, but the history of the Humphreys family is that they have had a trash collection business. And that business, I believe, was in Nachusa. And I am told that it was sold to Republic, a national company. So I meant to ask Mr. Humphreys these questions, but I missed that opportunity. But my concern is, as this business grows, what's its future? Is it going to be sold to Republic? And then we're going to have Republic as, so 5 years from now, it's already undergoing tremendous growth. It's going to go under greater growth. And is it going to be sold to Republic as a previous business of the family was? And then we're going to have a national trash collection site at Red Brick Road and Route 52. So correct me, Mr. Humphreys, if you didn't or weren't involved in a business in Nachusa, they got sold to Republic, but I do believe that history is an important history.
I believe the time for questions has passed.
I'm not asking him a question. I'm just telling him that he should correct me if my statement is not correct. Although I've verified that from several sources of local landowners. And anyway, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anybody else have a comment? Go ahead.
Name is Brandon Hudson. I'll keep it short, sweet, to the point. it's bad enough that we already have to deal with it because the special use permit, I think is what it's called, is already put into effect. But to look at it too, do you guys want to wake up, look out your door like Mr. Topper would have to, and you see garbage trucks and trash cans and dumpsters and rodents and cockroaches and flies and all this other stuff that can collect there? I don't live there, but I sure wouldn't want to. But owning the building that's right there, I do not want my tenants to have to deal with that either. That's all I got.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. State
I
your
just-
name again.
Richard I. Topper. I had this written when I wanted to read tonight. And so if it's okay for me to read this now, there's no questions, but okay. I am here tonight to express my concerns about my neighbors running their garbage business next to me. Once again, I stated before, my biggest concern is what this is going to do to my property value. My property and home are my biggest investment, and do not believe it is fair that it could be compromised so Humphreys can profit from this. When garbage trucks started working out of 1556 Red Brick Road, I had thought Humphreys had went through the proper procedures to do so. At that time, I had no reason not to trust Mr. Humphrey, only to find out that he has been working illegally. Mr. Humphrey knowingly and willingly operated over 2 years illegally, then is now trying to run his business legally. By him doing this should show you how much regard Humphreys have for their neighbors. What is the purpose of going through the rezoning process when you can just go and do what you want, legal or not? And the zoning board just looks the other way and lets him continue out of compliance. I can't understand why my rights were violated for over 2 years and are still continuing when he has no right to run his business there to begin with. Like I had stated before, Humphreys need to work out of an industrial park so it can accommodate their equipment, and no one can be bothered with garbage truck traffic, smell, noise, and anything else garbage related. And the only other things I have here are questions for the board, and I don't know if you want me to ask them now or not. Why was he able to continue running his business uncompliant?
This is a public comment section of the hearing, and we will not be answering questions.
If there's no further public comment, I would close the evidentiary portion of the hearing and you can continue with the finding of fact.
Okay. Okay, under findings of fact. The first findings of fact is the effect of the proposed use upon the character of the neighborhood.
I would say sight, visual sight being possibly number one. I guess to add further, visual sight of waste disposal trucks and containers.
Anything else?
I don't think so. That covers it.
Okay. So we have two findings of fact on the proposed use on the character of the neighborhood. You said visual site and the visual site of waste control products.
Correct.
We have a motion for those. You motion both of them at the same time.
I will make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that the effect of the proposed use on the character of the neighborhood is visual site of the waste control products. Is there any other comments? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Second is the effect of the proposed use upon traffic conditions.
Have approximately 8 workers arriving and leaving,
Great.
and 8 trucks arriving and leaving daily.
Would you say personal vehicles?
Yeah.
And 8 garbage trucks arriving and leaving. Or
They're leaving and
arriving.
arriving, yeah.
I would suggest one more. On traffic conditions, under testimony from Mr. Humphrey, those refuse trucks or garbage trucks would be leaving in the morning empty and coming back in the evening is empty. So there should be no effect on a posted road. But that's based on his testimony. Okay. Anything else?
I move for approval of those 3 points.
Okay, those 3 points. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
On those 3 points, 8 workers arrive and leave daily. And secondly, 8 garbage trucks leave in the morning and arrive in the evening. So basically, we're talking about 16 vehicles. And then based on Mr. Humphrey's testimony, daily, the trucks leave and return empty. So. Is there any other comments? Hearing none? All in favor? Those effect on the proposed use upon traffic conditions? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, the effect of proposed use upon public utility facilities. Any thoughts?
My only thought is, that stretch from the drive to US 52 on Red Brick Road is a county road, and there would be probably a little more wear and tear on that section of road.
It might be township.
Township road.
Yeah.
That's probably-
Township.
Anything else? I don't think it has any effect on electricity or any of the other things.
No.
Some extra wear on a short section of Red Brick Road.
Yeah, increase traffic on the section of Red Brick Road to US 52.
Okay.
And I'll make that in the form of a motion.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Motion is for some extra wear on a short section of Red Brick Road from increased traffic. We have any other comments? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries.
Sorry, who made the motion on that? Thank you.
The fourth finding of fact is the effect of the proposed use on public health, public safety, and the general welfare.
Now, the garbage service is for general. For public health.
And
That's why it
welfare.
started- Yeah, that's why it started again.
Is that what you want to put?
Yeah.
Garbage pickup?
Services.
See if you like that.
Citizens area, yeah. Should make this statement. I've been told that there is no weight limit in the spring on garbage trucks because of that importance of their service. Correct. Good. I can't verify, but I've been told that by other people.
Well, and that's probably true because you still got to pick up down the road too.
That is true.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
for this particular section of road, trucks come in empty and out empty.
Yeah. I move to approve that statement.
Want me to read it
Yeah.
one more time?
Yeah.
Garbage pickup, effect of the proposed use on public health, public safety, or general welfare. Garbage pickup for the public health and welfare for citizens in the area.
I will second that motion.
Craig made the motion. Luke, seconds it. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. So at this point, we have to make a judgment.
I'm sorry.
There's back page.
Yep, flip the page over and there's,
Oh,
should be
we got
one more
more?
finding.
We got more,
Oh,
okay? Number 5, the effects of the proposed use upon the surrounding properties.
Alice, I've got a question. Is the church in residential zoning there?
The zoning of the church is agricultural.
So we could be next to any type of farm then.
Correct.
I will just say that effects of the proposed use upon the surrounding properties will see an increase in traffic flow at certain times of the day.
Uh, and
Want me to restate that?
He's right, another one.
Okay. The other one I would say is the other effects on the surrounding properties just would be the visual sighting of the equipment. Okay. Anything else on that one? Hearing none, seeing none. All in favor, say aye. Oh, wait a minute, we gotta have a motion.
I move.
Craig moves.
I will second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. No other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. And then the next one is the effects of the proposed use upon environmental concerns.
Based on the testimony, there shouldn't be any pollution of the trucks or anything because they're not opened or dumped or washed there, the interiors.
On the interiors,
Yeah,
they are on the outside.
yeah, which everybody does.
Anything else? Nothing? Okay. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion would read, based on the testimony, the trucks are not washed on the interior. Any other comments? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Okay. Now, the next thing is a recommendation to the full board on to approve or deny. And then the second part is if we approve or deny, we also have additional reasons or statements or comments that we can make. So we can add those to that one way or the other, depending on what we do. I have a couple.
Do we state those first before we move to approve or deny?
Well,
Alice?
um,
Do we move to approve or deny and then make additional stipulations?
not, not, we
Conditions.
don't make additional
Condition.
stipulations. We make recommendations.
Recommendations.
Yes, your recommendation will be to either approve or deny, and then as part of that recommendation, you can add conditions that would apply. Typically, they make the motion to approve or deny, and then they do the conditions following that.
I move to approve this petition.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Now we have some discussion
we can have some discussion
on
and,
conditions.
and we can put some conditions on.
Alice, this is a special use, so it goes to the person.
So with this special use, the special use that allows him to operate the business there does have a condition that should they sell the business or the property, that the special use would cease. You could make a condition that would, then this would also cease if that initial special use were to cease. You can make a condition along those lines if that's what you're asking.
Like one concern of one of the testimony people, so.
I was just gonna say a condition I'd like to add is if, as just stated, the business is sold, that this petition is no longer valid for the property, would no longer apply to this property.
You said petition, are you referring to the special use?
Special
permit?
use permit, yes.
So it's for this person and this person only.
Correct.
And that was the nature of the petition that the county board approved. The first petition then too.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a suggestion. Since one of the things that they talk about is the visual thing. I would like to see maybe some extra visual screening. It could be in the form of a fence, it could be in the form of vegetation, trees, whatever. Which obviously takes some time to grow, but I think it's a way to work that out.
If that is what this board wants to do, I would ask that you please be specific as to where you want this screening to occur, what size, so that
I'm not saying trees, I'm just saying some kind of visual screening,
correct.
and mainly along that long fence where all of the containers are stored right at this time.
Okay, I will need a visual reference so that I can enforce that. If this were to be approved.
Along this area is where they've got this, all of the containers stored. So there's a fence already here. So whether they were to screen it taller, whatever, but we were talking about unstacking them.
Right.
That was an issue. But if you do some screening along here, it also helps cover up the trucks over here too.
And that is fine, just as long as I understand what you're asking so that I can enforce.
Pass it on to the county board properly. Third thing I would suggest. In Mr. Humphrey's testimony, we talked about potential expansion and what would happen. And we talked about what happens when he gets to 15 trucks, and he said that's the time that they need to find another location. So I would like to say that for the special use, and I'm talking about garbage trucks, not the container trucks. I would like to put on there that the special use is limited to 15 garbage trucks.
Rick, what is the proper term for that type of truck? So like a garbage hauler, how would I be able to differentiate between okay. And you're talking about the ones where they dump
I'm
into
not-
the back and then,
I'm talking about the packing truck.
okay.
Anything else?
One more thing that I'd like to add, per the petitioner's testimony, there will be no washing insides of the trucks on the property to avoid waste water runoff.
Good. Anything else? So we make a recommendation to the full county board to approve with basically 4 potential conditions, which again, the county board can take us up on it or bypass those. And that would be the property is sold. If the property is sold, the special use ceases to exist. Screening of the area of the containers. A limit of 15 trucks and no washing of the inside of the trucks on site. Is there any other?
I just have one on that first point. You said if the property is sold or if the business is sold?
Property or the business.
Property or business, okay.
Right.
I have no further question.
Any other? Okay. So we already have a motion to approve. We have a second. We've put some 4 potential conditions on it. Any other comments at all? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Your petition will now go to the county board for the full county board, which is what's that?
That'll be August 22nd at 6:00 PM.
Go to the full county board on the 22nd of August. All right. Good. With that, we need a motion to recess until after the county board meeting on the 22nd.
I move to recess.
We have a motion to recess. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We recess till the next regular scheduled meeting of the zoning board of appeals will be at 7 PM on Thursday, September 5th.